Hey guys, this is May to December and today I'm going to be reviewing Road Trip. Road Trip stars Seann William Scott and some other people, and most famously that bloke, what's his name, Tom Green from Freddy Got Fingered and all those other ridiculous films. He's a great comedian, but I've never been into his comedy that much. But anyway, it says here from the director of Hangover. Well, Hangover came out years and years after the Road Trip, so I wish they wouldn't do that. Anyway, it starts off with what's his name? It starts off with Josh. That's it, Josh and his girlfriend Poison. They're always going to love each other and be together. And they go to separate colleges where Josh basically meets Amy Smart's character, who is Beth, and basically they end up having a night of passion, and he didn't realise it, but they recorded it, and everybody wants to see it, and it turns out that Tom Green's character sent the wrong tape to Josh's girlfriend, who is not named on here. And basically they have 3 days to get to it. So Josh, Seann William Scott, a very skinny guy, gets off a massive black woman, and the other guy, who I've seen from something else but can't remember his name. Basically they all go on a road trip, and they go from one thing to another, from taking drugs to going to a fraternity where they're accused of being racist, which is quite funny, to them going to other places, and then they finally get to where they got to go, and it's a very funny movie. I think it's dated a tiny bit because it came out in 2000, and I think it's dated a tiny bit because some of the humour's not as good as it was. I think if you grew up in the 90s, you'd probably enjoy it more. Or, I mean, it's basically early 2000s was the time where you had all the teen comedies kind of starting again, like they did in the 80s. In the 80s, teen comedies were massive, like Polkies and the National Lampoon movies and all this stuff, and I mean, Revenge of the Nerds were all big things in the 80s, and they started coming back in the late 90s to the 2000s, and I think a lot of them were rubbish, but you had some good ones like Old School, Road Trip, American Pie, Euro Trip, as well as many others. But this film is funny. Watching it again for me was like watching a film from like 8 years ago, and I enjoyed it probably just as much as I did then. But yeah, the end is pretty funny, and the movie itself is overall funny. I mean, on the scale of funniness, I would give it probably a 3 out of 5 because it hits them up quite a bit. And there's a great bit where they go into a restaurant, and I'm not going to spoil it, but it was really funny, and it's got a guy in it who I've seen before. I think I saw him in Boat Trip, I think. But anyway, it's a good movie, and I'll cut it short now. It's a good movie, it's fun to enjoy. I recommend watching it, because if you haven't, it's definitely a fun movie. Once you've watched it once, unless it becomes your favourite film, you're not going to want to see it again, but it's always good to have in the collection in case you ever want to again, if you want to watch it with somebody again. Alright, take care.